Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to episode 157 of the FReality Podcast. This is a special live stream. This is something we normally do on the show floor during Oculus Connect. It kind of sucks that we're not there together, sharing the excitement together right now and doing this show recorded from the show floor. But we thought we'd get together nevertheless after the sort of live stream, the Facebook Connect event, and talk about our thoughts on what was announced during the event, our thoughts on the event itself. Obviously talk about the Quest 2. Nathan and I have had hands-on experience with it for the last couple of weeks now. So if you've got any questions about Quest 2 or anything about, Facebook Connect in general, then chuck your questions in the chat and we'll try and answer as many questions as we can. But of course, we're joined with the full motley crew. We've got Zimtok5, Nathan, and Rowdy Guy, and myself. And I think we should just kick it off with the event itself. We all obviously watched the event. Some of us did live streams, some of us did little watch parties and Discords. What was the general sort of thought and feeling overall of how the event was handled, bearing in mind it had to be sort of online and digital this year?
I think that the quality of the stream was really high. Like, the video quality, the presentation, it was very well structured. Probably even more so than if the event was live, just because everything else is pre-recorded. There's no live element to it. But at the same time, I did find that there was a huge emphasis on the AR aspect, and I felt like it took a bit away from the virtual reality. We had, of course, the information about the Quest 2, everything that we knew already since the leaks that came out earlier during the week. And it kind of felt a little bit like the emphasis was far more on the augmented reality rather than virtual reality, which is strange because it was more like a research project they were suggesting and not really a consumer-ready product that they were offering already. But yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, if you didn't watch the live stream, they talked about sort of AR and VR, their vision, or Mark Zuckerberg talked about their vision for the future. And then they announced Quest 2, which we'll touch on later on, the specs, the price, everything you need to know about that. But you're right. And then they sort of flitted back into AR. Then they talked about some other Facebook products like Portal. And they spent a lot of time at the end talking about their research and stuff into AR. And certainly from my perspective, because I live streamed the whole event and, was monitoring the chat of my live stream in real time. And a lot of people getting very bored of the AR content. And I kind of would have preferred if they'd have broken the event down into categories. So, okay, now we're going to talk about VR. We're going to announce the new headset. We're going to talk about all the new games. Done. Now we're going to talk about AR. And then people would have just dipped in for what they were interested in rather than having to sit through two and a half hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, I think that they did that intentionally, though. I really do think that I do think because I think people would have kind of I got my VR news and I'm fecking off. I think that's why they it did feel like they shoehorned the AR bit kind of front loaded the event. Yeah. But like what Rowdy was saying, I thought the presentation went pretty flawlessly. I said I'd roll the dice and actually try it out in venues. So about half an hour before venues, I went in, set up a character and all that. This is the venues beta, not the older version of venues. And watched it for 2 hours. And it was really funny because my quest lasted literally seconds after Abrash's talk. They just finished and the quest died. And at that stage, looking around me, instead of the 20 capacity I think that room had, there were 6 people left and people were dropping out because of their batteries. It was really funny. Oh, yeah. So anyway.
I thought that if you were a consumer watching this, it was hard to find out what was for you and what wasn't. Sometimes it was company content that they were showing you, and then at other moments it was for actual so yeah, I think breaking it up in segments would have been better, where it's okay, this is for the gamers and for the the people who are into VR and want to buy it. This is for the companies who want to make VR content. Just kind of do it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think, breaking it up would have been smart because at the end, Michael Abrash, I love the guy and he's beyond intelligent really when it comes to these things. And he explains it in such a detailed way that if you love that stuff, I'm sure Rowdy absolutely lap that stuff
I was
up.
eating it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure, it would appeal to a lot of people, but I think the mainstream audience that, like Nathan said, the consumers out there, they were like, who is this guy giving me a like a science lesson on a stream for an hour. I just want to see the Quest 2 being unboxed, you know?
Yeah, it does feel that way though. Like even for me, and I have an engineering degree, I'm in electronic engineering specifically. So his stuff is really interesting to me as well. But I feel like he like has this spot. He does it every year. I feel like he could do the same thing in half the time. I really do.
Yeah.
And hit the same points, you know, at our level of humanity.
So we moved from Oculus Connect being a VR event to Facebook Connect that is an VR/AR event.
Well, the funny thing is, if we look at the previous edition, you know, they already were like kind of hinting towards AR. If you remember, like the slogan they had, but we didn't really see a lot back then about augmented reality, and this time it feels like it actually was like predominantly AR.
Well, I think that's the reason why they changed the name in the end, to kind of, you know, match it up, because if it was called Oculus Connect, well, the products they are gonna make AR wise are not Oculus, then it's super strange.
But it's also difficult to get excited about, like, because their AR project is Project Aria, although it's not AR glasses. They call them smart glasses for now, and they said that Facebook are going to be testing them out in real world applications to ultimately build the AR glasses that they want to build. But I just can't get excited for AR just yet if it's going to be like at least another year or two away. Do you know what I mean? So I find it difficult to get excited about that.
But
right
wait,
now.
I got confused about that because like they talked about this tiering of augmented reality. They said you've got an augmented reality headset which we're building to, but before that we're going to smart glasses.
That's
but
right.
they didn't really go back to talking about the AR headset, did they? Because like this Project Aria is the smart glasses, but they didn't really talk about the AR headset, right?
No. You know, from what we know, it had like eye tracking in it, and you know, you would be able to, you know, have that kind of presence with a friend that you would see them as a hologram almost sitting opposite you, and that's the kind of way they showed it in a video. It looks interesting, but I think I'm struggling to get excited about it right now, especially with the Quest 2, which I think, you know, I and everyone else was most excited about that more than anything else.
I think that the major reason why we're still gonna have to wait for like this kind of stuff to hit like the consumer market is just like pure legislation, right? And I think that is maybe the intent of Facebook to announce this now already, and to do it in a consumer event so that, you know, like if they can show that there is a certain level of attention to it, then eventually legislation is going to have to put something in place in order to, you know, regulate these kind of devices. Because the way that I understood it, you know, it's recording and both visually and audio at the same time, which is again, like, you know, we're getting into that privacy issue, and we've talked about it so many times about the past few episodes. But this is again one of those devices where there is just no legislation in place that regulates a device like this,
like mandates. We already see this going, Rowdy, and it's very interesting because you used to, you know, I remember when Google were mapping the world with their cars, right? And you had these cars going around, and if anyone saw one on the street or whatever, it's like, all right. And then later, you know, you might be a blurry shot on the street somewhere in, I don't know, what your hometown. But it's that, but with people walking around with headsets on. And I think it's really interesting because you can see like government level mandated software minimums. Like your AR software will disable itself when you're walking into the context of a bathroom or something like that. Like you can see that kind of pipeline coming, and that's why they're contextualizing the area, and they're also mapping the area. Because think of how much easier it's going to be to discern with the headset. They talked about a downloaded map that they've already got like pre-coded. Oh, that's a bathroom. Switch off the recording as I walk in there. You know, so that it's not up to the user. It's up to the headset itself to actually kind of self-control. So that's what I see them coming with. We haven't heard like anything out of Apple, and I'm really interested. Yeah, I was surprised not to hear anything. So I'm really interested in the fact that Oculus seemed to be ahead of the game, even with the other big players, and no one else has so far like shown their cards, and they're really already getting into some of the stuff that's behind the curtain, which I really like.
Yeah. It depends on how you look at it, because, you know, Google was also early showing the Google Glass, you know, how that ended. So, you know, showing something early doesn't necessarily mean you're you know, ahead of anyone else. So we'll see.
But certainly, you know, Google Glass and also the Snapchat glasses, they never really took off as consumer products. I don't feel, I never.
They tried, but
they tried. I think the only time I ever saw one in the flesh was with Lucas Risotto, and I'm pretty sure he was wearing them at OC6 during the event.
The Snapchat glasses, I think they were more infamous in the US. Like they grew in popularity there, but I think here in Europe they didn't really spread at all.
Because they came out of vending machines too, so you couldn't just go to a store buying one. So that's why they never really spread.
Specialty vending machines that were dropped for a day, and you had to run down there and get one.
Plus, it's like if you buy a pair of glasses that only works with one specific app and does like two things, then it wears out pretty quickly. But if you have a headset that they showed where it's like it's going to be a lifestyle thing, that's where we're talking.
Maybe we should talk about the Quest 2 then, because that was obviously the highlight of the show. Everyone was super excited about the Quest 2. We had leaks at the beginning of the week on Monday, which was just insane because they came from Facebook themselves. It seemed like the biggest and most significant leak came from Facebook, which is kind of ironic, really. And some people suggested that this was planned. Some people said it was like just a mistake. And personally, I think it was a mistake. It was someone just messed up somewhere. But a lot of information got leaked out early. But that was kind of the highlight of the show, I think, for me, and I guess it was you guys as well. No. Like the Quest 2 was the highlight of Facebook Connect.
Yeah, there was a lot of information.
A little bit of the shine.
It took away a bit of the shine. You're right. It took it's like knowing what your Christmas present was before Christmas Day. It took that edge off it. You were still happy, of course, but it wasn't the surprise that necessarily you wanted. So maybe we should talk about Quest 2. What do you guys think of it? Obviously, Nathan and I have had hands-on with it for a couple of weeks. So maybe we should talk to you guys first about what you think of it and maybe any questions that you've got about the headset.
Good call. Rowdy, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I've said it already a couple of times. I'm not the big advocate for increased resolution, whatever. What I am a big advocate for is like an increase in comfortability, and that they've reduced the weight, I think is a good thing. I'm not entirely convinced on the strap. Neither am I on the color. I think white is a strange color to go with, especially because you hold it in your hand so often, you and your hair and your head as well, which are two very greasy spots. So I think that just grease in general will really collect on a white headset, and that will make it, of course, harder to sell it when they come with the Quest 3, I think. But in terms of progress, I don't know if I can really consider it like the second version of the Quest, because I find the upgrades, although significant, not in a way that I would say this is the second generation of the Quest. It's really like a leap forward. I don't have that impression right now. I haven't tried it, of course. I'm sure that the display will be crisper, and I'm sure that the colors will be better, and the increased resolution will help. The increased frame rate is great, but all in all, I don't find the advancements from I haven't tried it from the stat sheet. I don't find them convincing enough in order to call it, this is the second generation of the Quest. I think that's my overall opinion on that. Is it better? I'm pretty sure it is. But I'm mostly wondering how much is the difference in comfort? That is what I'm wondering about the most. And that is a personal thing. I'm sure that depends on the shape of your head. And
definitely.
And maybe before Nathan and I answer some of those questions, we should ask him what his thoughts are first, and then we can sort of maybe address some of those issues.
I've been using my Quest 2 here for a little bit, which I literally, when I was seeing the presentation, I literally thought, wow, isn't this real? For the price and for what they've done to the headset, it really to me feels like an upgrade of an Oculus Go to some extent. So I see it's $6, right? But if you think about the the battery life, the strap that ships with it, it's just I really feel like it is a blend between the two headsets. And what Rowdy's saying, in terms of a leap to kind of earn the number 2, I would have probably expected more. Obviously, it's got the new chip in there. Fantastic. That's not going to be apparent from release, from what I understand of the chipset. like that chipset's going to mature, and even devs won't be able to unlock its full potential for some time, is what I understand reading around that. And I think that what they've done essentially is taken, like I said, like this like midway step between the Go and the Quest. I think it's a very smart business move. We talked about it before when we were kind of musing about what this might be. But if you're going to really sunset to some degree your 3 headsets and merge them all into one, then the headset that they've done is basically, it's a modular headset. They've said, I'll step back on the battery from what I'm reading from all the reviewers out there. I'll take the weight out of the headset doing so. I'll step back on the strap, taking cost out of the total thing. So all in all, I think it's a really smart business move. And actually, for those of us who want a better performing replacement headset, for basically $349 when you add the price of the Elite strap, seems like a really fair offering. I went straight away to pre-order one. I got the case as well because I think their cases are brilliant. I've had the Go and the Quest case, and I'm really keen to kind of play with it. But Rowdy's absolutely right. As a guy who's just flogged a whole bunch of different bits of kit, like after my greasy hands are on something, like there's a very distinctive thumbprint or whatever. So I'm glad they've moved to plastic for like the Elite strap and for the facial interface, because like the Go still looks, and for our audio listeners, I'm holding a Go, which I was faking that was a Quest. It's got Quest 2 written on the cover. Like it's still clean. It's cleanable. It's a cleanable surface. Whereas anything with that cloth, whether it was the original CV1, whether it's the Quest, it gets marks on it. Like if you take chalk or anything and you just touch it, now you wouldn't do this as a sane person, but if you were not a sane person, you put a chalk mark. How do you get that chalk mark off of the fabric? It's not easy. You can't just take a damp cloth or water to it. You could damage it. So that's my only concern really is probably battery life is my main concern with this headset.
So, one more thing. Are you putting that Quest 2 on eBay, Sim?
Am I putting the Quest 2 on eBay? This one? No,
this one that you have right there.
This is the one. No. I use this for lying down with a soft strap in bed.
This is the 265 one, right?
This is the limited edition McLaren 512 gigabyte.
Wow. Give me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So there's 2 variants of the Quest, and I actually picked up a 256 myself. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, I think personally, I think it is deserved of a second generation tag, and is deserved of the Quest 2 mark. I think the XR2 chipset from Qualcomm, I was absolutely like astounded when they announced that was going to be part of the headset going forward. The fact it's got 2 extra gigabytes of memory.
Why was it a surprise, Mike? Was it because of the cost or the recent release of the chip?
I would have thought that they would have gone incremental upgrade, maybe 845, maybe 855.
Why did you think that? Because the thing that Oculus has the advantage for is that they have both the ecosystem and the hardware in one place. So to do a chip upgrade, and especially because the chip is actually not that expensive if you eliminate, for example, the 5G module from it. The chip upgrade, I think, is fairly. I mean, I'm not going to say it's easy, but considering the engineering that they have at Facebook and that they also have the software ecosystem built into it, I think that is a fairly expected upgrade. And I expect them to always, when they make a new Quest, to kind of upgrade that with the latest available chips.
You would have thought that, and that would have been fine. But the price point and that combined just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just like, you're like going, okay, it's like the NVIDIA move that we've seen the last couple of weeks. We're going to announce the RTX 3080. It basically trumps our previous card. Oh, and by the way, it's like $400 cheaper. And it's just like, how? Like, what wizardry is this? And that is what surprised me. Yeah, it is. But that is it. But you got to remember, we're not that far away from the initial Quest launch, and to reiterate so quickly and also drop the price is a very aggressive move.
I think you're fully correct on that the price is indeed, again, the main selling point. And I think that Facebook is, again, of course, undervaluating their own headset in terms of getting as many people on there, which I think is the right strategy forward. And I do expect these kind of headsets to get cheaper and cheaper, which is also a consequence, again, of Moore's Law, because it's an exponential curve. So every iteration
you got to remember
and cheaper.
At this point, Oculus are only competing with themselves.
Yeah.
There isn't anyone else to compete with on the market right now in terms of a product like this. So that's why it's surprising.
they of course the competition that they see is the competition of getting people into it. I think that's what they're going for. They want, what was it, like 1 billion people in virtual reality.
Yeah.
The only way they can do that is by A, delivering an experience that is really, really great, B, delivering a headset that is really, really great, and C, making it affordable for exactly 1 billion people.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Like, so you're saying you think it deserves the 2, chip, price, what else?
So memory, chip, price, display. So display is 1832 by 1920 per eye.
Yeah.
It's a single fast switch LCD panel. It runs natively at 72 hertz, just like the
original
original
Love that
Quest.
it's LCD. I forgot about that. That's great. That's same as the Rift.
But it can boost up to 90 hertz in some applications. So right now, I think the first applications to get the 90 hertz upgrade are the home environment and Oculus browser. Then developers who have the performance headroom can upgrade their apps to 90 hertz as well. And generally, when you use the headset, everything just feels faster and snappier. It's like having a decent phone upgrade.
Yeah.
Like once you get used to it, you just can't go back.
So like anything that's not an Apple phone, you mean?
Well, I find that with Apple phones. I don't know about you. But yeah, like certainly, it turns on faster. Games run faster.
Damn.
For me, everything just feels smoother. The whole experience feels smoother. Hand tracking feels great.
Go back to the RAM, because RAM is like, this is something that in headsets we haven't really had comparable headsets to kind of say, ooh, I got a RAM upgrade so things are snappier. This has that. Do you know the comparison between the two?
So it's got 2 additional gigabytes of RAM, and I'm not sure if it's the XR2 chip that makes it feel faster or the RAM upgrade that makes it feel faster, but it just feels much faster.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about the display, we should talk about the display quickly, is that it's very vibrant, it's very sharp. It does look better than the original Quest's display. The 2 key elements that make it really stand out as an upgrade for me are the screen door effect is greatly reduced. Like you don't necessarily see it anymore, which is great. And also the fixed foveated rendering is gone in intensive games. So do you know when you're playing like a game like Vader Immortal was a really good example of this, where if you would look at the peripheral vision, like you'd move your eyes around, you would notice that the pixels are getting like compressed and a little bit blurrier the further you go out of your vision, the sweet spot in the middle.
It's like you're like watching like something through a camera, like a Pokemon Snap camera or something.
Yeah, and basically they did that to get games to run so well on the 835 that they had back then. But now they don't need to, so
hang on, that's a temporary. So I think you're talking about content that's been basically, I don't want to call it ported, but you were running it on Quest 1 hardware. I'm so sad we have to call it that now. And we have Quest 2 now. You can drop that off because you have the performance headroom. But what happens when a developer starts making content and they really want to push the boundaries? They ported a PC game to Quest. They're trying to hit the frame rate. Are you saying fixed foveated rendering is out? Because I've not... So it's no longer an option for developers to even use fixed foveated rendering, is what you're saying?
No, it might be there, but what I'm saying is in all the games and experiences I've tried with this headset so far, I haven't seen it.
Right. I think that's not a trick they're going to let out of their bag.
No, you're saying like if they want to push it to the limit with a game, then they might have to return it to be able to.
They're going to bring that back in.
But you've got to remember, like, particularly in the foreseeable future, that all games are going to be running on both hardware, Quest 1 and Quest 2.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that if you get foveated rendering on Quest 1, you're unlikely to get it on Quest 2.
I am glad for that. I'll tell you why.
How long will that be?
There's a bug with fixed foveated rendering. It's happened to be in Arizona Sunshine, Vader Immortal, I believe, one other game I can't remember, where that whole fixed foveated rendering, the center bit goes white. And I'll mention it again in case anyone else ever experiences this. Obviously, if you're a Quest 2 owner, I'm like saying you won't, but if you're a Quest owner, on and off on the power button and it clears it. It flushes that. So you don't have to start your headset over again. But I'm glad to hear that that's gone, and all the experiences you tried were what were you?
Pretty much everything on the store that's available now. Okay. In terms of like the high quality titles, the best ones at least. Vader Immortal. I've also played Saints and Sinners on the Quest.
Play fast stuff like, of course, Beat Saber, I'm guessing, but like Pistol Whip, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Beat Saber, Pistol Whip, everything.
Like less frame drops. When sometimes you play like a multiplayer, Rec Room, VR Chat, or something else, where there's too much going on and it doesn't know what to do anymore. It's now able to kind of push that a little bit further. in that sense. Like for me, jumping from Quest 1 to Quest 2 wasn't a huge, step in terms of like, what the screen looked like. It just looks as nice as what the Quest 1 looked like. For me, it didn't feel like a big jump. I did notice glare, something that is now for some reason back. I don't know. I never mentioned anything about glare on my Quest 1, but on the 2, I was noticing it way more.
Lenses are still Fresnel lenses, right?
Exactly the same lenses as before.
So, but you're seeing...
That's one of the things that I'm like, why hasn't that upgraded? Like, we've seen that with like so many other headsets. That's like, instead of like pushing resolution and instead of pushing, well, frame rate has been pushed by other headsets as well. But like field of view has remained roughly like, I wouldn't say completely similar, but at least in the same range. And I was kind of hoping, even though when we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, I knew that it wasn't going to happen anymore, that at least they would try something with field of view. And I don't have the impression that has changed at all.
But the thing is, it's still good enough for now.
God, you're scaring
we can also, it's fine. That's the whole thing. The only problem, if we're talking about field of view, there's one problem, okay? And it's a big problem, I think, is that, so the Oculus Quest 2 is now using a IPD adjuster on the inside, okay? So you have no manual adjuster on the outside anymore where you can just go for a specific number. It has 3 settings, and if you're falling into that category, then you're fine. If you're next to it and it's not sharp enough, then you're screwed because you have to just deal with one of the 3 settings. And the worst
is there any kind of intermediary tolerance? Like, can you?
No.
You're just fixed into 3 settings.
So you grab the lens and then you click it to the left or the right, and then there's a little number in the middle that shows 1, 2, 3.
You don't have to touch the glass, right? You're not touching the glass.
Well, that's the funny part. So this headset doesn't come with a lens wipe, and you do make the lens dirty from time to time. So you need to be careful. But yeah, you have to take off the headset to adjust your IPD now. You can't do it while you're in VR.
Well, I kind of like that because one of the things I noticed with the Quest is that it does tend to bounce around, and you'll get that pop-up. Yeah, thanks to Mike. It's clear you're moving it left and right. So it's basically like 3 clicks.
But
3 clicks.
Here comes the caveat. So if you are in setting number 1 or 3, okay, then the field of view becomes smaller actually. So on the left side or the right side, you can see the edge of the screen. And if you have, let's say, I'm not an expert on noses, but some people tried it at my house, and they said that when they were at the 1 or 3 setting, it pinched their nose because the lenses move really close in that area. So, but the field of view is really bad, in my opinion, if you're in the 1 or the 3. If you're in the middle, it's great.
I'm not even in the 1. Like,
well, I hope you're not. Like, I hope you're not in the 1, because 1 or 3 is really strange.
And this is again why this was another thing. Now, a question, because I saw from Chris Richardson in chat, he was saying that there's a software adjustment on top of the hardware adjustment.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's the wiggle on top. So you have the physical, this sounds like a good combination and a decent fix where it's saying, okay, you're going to have your 3 physical settings because the Go only had 1, and we know how much of a problem that was for certain people with funny eyes, like Rowdy and a few others. And then the physical setting plus the software trickery should at least get you to some kind of happy ground. But have you run across anybody who you've trialed with who was not able to get to a happy place with the IPD?
No. As I said, like, some people came over at my place and they tried it, and they just said that when they were in setting 1 or 3, they could see the edges of the screen. It was like really weirdly aligned.
1 or 3, so the outer sides, right? Like 2 is your 63 millimeter.
Yeah, but you need to know that the 3 settings that they have are based on what works for most people. But still, like the reason why they did this is because this headset is mainly targeted towards new consumers, getting us to mass adoption. So that manual slider made it very complicated. If you remember the tutorial, you had to pretty much know your IPD to be able to find out. Now, with 1, 2, 3 settings, there isn't that much to figure out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you just trial and error. It's super. I like it. I like it. I actually like this system.
So on that side, it's a great system, but it does leave out some more people because of that.
Yeah, I'm just really curious about this nose pinch thing, because as you guys know, And as most of the internet knows, I've got a large nose.
You got a large nose, yeah. Well,
the good thing is I'm a 64 millimeter IPD, so I think I'll be okay.
Wow.
That's the middle.
Well, that's in 4. No.
Start Rowdy. You can't make those jokes.
61 millimeter IPD, and setting 2, which is at 63 millimeters, works fine for me.
Yeah, I really like what you're saying.
I'm like 58, I think, or not even yet. Like
there is a setting for 58. That's setting 1.
Can we drill into this one opportune point that Nathan mentioned, which has now got me shaking my timbers, which is glare. I canceled my index order over cylindrical like glare in the lenses. I really don't like glare. They had it in the CV1, which if I'm remembering correctly was an LCD panel, and I don't know if it's directly related to LCD panels, but I don't have it in Rift S. Rift S is clean, like the DK2, clean panel, no reflections. How would you describe? Can you characterize the glare that you've seen in the headset?
Like it's when you start it up, you see the Oculus logo, and then you have everything around it is black. And it's like this gloomy kind of effect that goes over it,
so
like
not
a mist.
God rays, more like a misty fog.
Yeah, like a misty fog. But again, that's for the the VR enthusiasts who really want to, like, for me it's not immersion breaking, but it's something that if you play dark games, like where there's like a lot of where there's like, let's say, a lot of dark spots and then you have some lights popping up, that's where you see it a lot.
On this point, so aside from that, thank you for the detail on that, because that's a really important part for me. Look forward to getting my eyes in it. Mike, you mentioned about the display being particularly good. Like, how would you describe it versus like an Index, for example, in terms of resolution of the games that you're seeing? Obviously, you're not comparing PC to mobile games, but can you give us an idea?
So the thing is, right now, the Oculus Link using with Quest 2 isn't optimized. It's still in beta right now. They're going to be releasing it out of beta soon, and it's going to be able to run at 90 hertz and also take full advantage of the resolution.
What does not optimized mean exactly? Does that mean it doesn't work at all, or it works, but
it works? It works, and it works fine. Yeah. It works fine. The thing is, like, they've never used the full bandwidth of the official Link cable. Like, it can run at like a 1.4 gigabytes. I think I remember off the top of my head, but it's like capped at something stupid like 500 megabytes, something ridiculous like that. Don't quote me on the numbers, but something similar. So all I'm saying is that right now, I would say it's comparable with what like a Rift S looks like, although I personally find that the field of view is bigger than the Rift S because the lenses are close to my eyes, because the headset is shallower. It's like shallower, so it sits close to my eyes, and my IPD being at 2, it looks wider. So personally, I preferred it over using the Rift S right now.
Vertical and horizontal, or just wider?
Just wider.
Just wider.
Thanks. But what I'm saying is that it's likely going to be improved, and it's going to be a better situation once Oculus Link is out of beta, or is what I'm saying. Okay. But compared to the Valve Index, the Valve Index is still the king of PC VR. There's no question about that. 130 degree field of view, the 144 hertz, you just can't beat that. No. But you could buy 3 Quest 2s for the price of an Index, and that's a significant difference.
What about the clarity in the panel? Because you touched on FOV and the other. So.
And also, like, I tried the Quest 2 running virtual desktop wirelessly, playing PC VR content as well, and that does also work. So you can still sideload content as well. People will be happy to hear. And playing Half-Life Alyx, wirelessly with this headset, it feels really, really nice. There's no doubt about that. And I think that is what I would say is, like, if you're a newcomer to the VR market, then not only is the Quest 2 a great standalone VR headset, but it's also the perfect entry VR headset as well.
Did I hear somewhere?
We had a question actually from the chat as well, since we're talking about resolution anyway. We had Janrad asking, you would like to know whether the screen compares for like movies and Netflix. How much better is it? Is it getting the native resolution for browsers and stuff?
I think just because of the screen door effect in itself, it looks nicer in my opinion. I didn't notice the glare as much as Nathan did, but I think, depending on your IPD and how you wear it and what strap you're using, you might have a different experience, but certainly it wasn't something that struck me as like, oh, this is a problem.
It's also a bit of consequence of the Fresnel lenses, I guess. Like, as long as you have those Fresnel lenses, you will always get like a little bit of the side effects as well, right?
Yeah. But I think one thing we should probably talk about that is really important overall. Well, there's two things that are really important actually that we should really talk about. Firstly is that a Facebook account is required to use this headset. I just wanted to let everyone know that that is the case with this, regardless of whether you're a new user or an established Oculus user with an Oculus ID. You have to use a Facebook account. There is no other choice. And
it's written in very, very small print on the box.
You do that through the mobile app. So when you sign into the mobile app, it'll ask you to link your Facebook account, and then you can use the headset from there. So I think that's one important thing to note. The second really important thing is that the head strap isn't good. It just isn't good enough, I don't think, in my opinion. I think everything else about this headset is a significant upgrade. Performance.
Is it worse than the Ghost Strap, in your opinion?
No. Well, I think
is
so.
It worse than the Ghost Strap?
Because the headset is heavier. That's the problem.
But the strap itself, it's not. You know why it's not like worse than the Ghost Strap? Because the Ghost Strap on the back, like you remember where you put it on and sometimes like the back just snapped open because it couldn't hold the headset properly. With the new one, it like on the back, it can't be opened anymore. So that part is completely
What do you mean by snapped open?
So it's snapped open on the back side where you had like this strap where you, like, it's hard to explain when I don't.
Yeah, I don't know because there aren't any openings on the back of the strap. That's why I was asking.
As far as I know, like on the back,
on the bottom,
there's like this part that can, that part exactly where it's like the crossroad basically.
So this is meant to. So there's a double strap at the back, and that's what I was specifically kind of asking about because this would still cup the back of your skull, whereas and for ponytail wearers, ladies, they have that ability to slip the ponytail through there and it's not going anywhere. Whereas this one is just a single strap, and I look at that and I go, is that
But there are multiple strap options. Maybe we should comment on that.
Because we're just talking about the base, what you get in the box, right? So
from my perspective, like wearing it for like 30 minutes or an hour is like really like the edge, because then like for me my head starts to feel sore and it kills my excitement to be in VR. So like I wanted to take it off again. If you put it on really like perfectly, I think you can like really push it to an hour, but that's it because then you're like, oh my god, it hurts. And the strap itself on the side, you can like click it into the plastic parts of the Quest itself. So that makes it really strong. So it's never gonna just, like pull itself off. But it has like this white fabric on the side that gets dirty very quickly. So if you're having hair and you have gel or something, it just gets dirty. And when you grab it, like after 2 days of me unboxing it, it already got dirty. But the funny part is, as Rowdy said, they're like accessories, but these new straps, they don't have this material and they don't get dirty like that. So to me, it seems like Facebook has decided to capitalize on the problem of this head strap. And because they could have just used one of the new straps and just put it in the box with that. But they say they want to keep it compact. I say that it's a good reason to get people buying more stuff because there's so many accessories suddenly.
There is an advantage. There is a distinct advantage to that compact argument, and I didn't think about it until you mentioned it. So thank you, because the Quest, for example, to go on a plane with a Quest versus a Go, it's about half the size of the object. This thing goes into a small like overhead luggage thing. The Quest is like luggage itself, right? In that case, and so I have to say I understand their point.
I think the thing is here, we need to remember this, right? The headset is $299 US. It is like dirt cheap. It is so cheap.
Like everything we talked about, like you can't complain about this.
Can't complain about any of this stuff because with the XR2, the new display, the high resolution, the IPD adjustment, like it's lighter. All right, it has a crappy strap. Like that's my only major gripe about this.
What about battery? Because I'm already seeing issues about the battery. Like I hear it's not parity to the original Quest.
2-hour battery life for gaming.
2 hours for gaming.
Yes.
Okay.
More if you're watching just movie content.
Because the original Quest was like 2 hours 30, 2 hours 40 with just.
So it's a little bit less. Yeah.
So it's a little bit less, but not materially less, which is what I was worried about. Okay.
Yeah,
fair
but
enough.
I think, like talking about the head strap again, personally, I think if you're a serious gamer or an enthusiast and you're going to spend an hour, in this headset or longer playing like Population 1 or some of the great games coming soon, you'll want the Elite strap. In my opinion, it's a must-buy accessory. I just don't like the original strap that comes in the box. And the thing is, most people out there won't even care. They'll buy this, they'll play Beat Saber for 20 minutes every day. They'll love it and have a great time with it and not even bat an eyelid or even know the fact that there's an option to buy an Elite head strap.
Well, that's
but
the
for
thing.
us,
Wait,
at least there's an option.
One thing I gotta highlight there, because when I was going through the checkout, they have a smart system, at least in the UK store, where if you are picking up one of the head straps or the case, for example, it takes the other stuff you can't add to your basket. So the combination of items that you can add to your basket is like a little equation. And if you don't, if you've added one strap, they don't want you buying another strap on top of that. Mike, you were saying that there was a packaging combination, like some kind of trickery here. Can you tell us about that?
This is kind of cheeky, I think, of them. They sold the Elite strap, right, which is $49, which I think is a good price for it, and it's totally worth it. Still combined, the Quest 2 and the Elite head strap, $350, still cheaper than Quest and still better.
Yeah.
And I would say it's much better with the head strap as well, like significantly better. They sell a battery version of it with a battery built into the back, which is super smart as it was a common mod amongst the enthusiast community. Yeah. But what they've done is they've bundled it with a traveling case at $129 and you can't buy it separately. So they've been kind of sneaky about it.
But you know what I think that is? I'm going to take a punt and a guess here. Batteries, when you sell them, need to have certain kinds of protection, and even the size of the casing and stuff that you've got, particularly on the size of the battery. I wonder if they've done that. Like, why else would they?
With such an expensive product combination.
To me,
is it weird? Is it weird?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like when I unboxed it, everything that I didn't like about the headset pointed towards accessories I had to buy. So this is just a smart way to make some extra money.
But it's not that. It's the other way, right? It's modular. It's a modular system. It's like, and this is why wouldn't you make this decision?
This is freaking random, man. Why is it in there? It's the weirdest bundle.
No. But like, if you're gonna be paying to mod out your new baby, right? You might as well get a case with it.
If you want to justify that, you need to pay more money for something random that you don't need.
Store simplification.
I don't agree with that for one reason, and that is that Facebook is not planning on making money on this headset again. Otherwise, they would have made it more expensive again. I don't think that this is a cash grab. I don't know what the decision for it is. I find it weird. But I don't think that Facebook is going to start making money on modular things for a headset.
The reason why these accessories exist is because they don't want people to modify it themselves anymore. Because we have seen a lot of ugly Quests that were great. In terms of comfort, but they want to be that that Apple company that has like an iPhone and that's all you need and it's just looking great from the outside and from the inside. And you don't need to feck around with it. It's just good by itself.
They don't want you to use the Vive Deluxe audio strap and have a HTC logo next to the headset anymore. They don't want that. And they should have made an audio version of the Elite strap. There's a missed opportunity there, in my opinion, to have some nice off-ear audio solution built into the strap.
Ooh, nice idea.
But I think that the great thing is, you're right, it's modular. And the way that these head straps connect to the headset, they snap on and off where the audio channels are.
Yeah.
So it means that third-party accessory manufacturers are going to be opened up and making accessories for this. They've already got some official Oculus partners like VR Cover. Logitech are making some earphones and a headset for the device. So we're going to see some third-party manufacturers make straps as well. And I think the 3D printed community will also be able to utilize the design to quickly and easily make their own custom head straps if they want as well. So I think that is great.
Very good. Very good.
It's just weird, when you talk about this headset, you can wear two hats. You can wear the hat of like, okay, I had a Quest 1, what is a Quest 2? Or you can wear the hat of like new consumer. And that's like, it's almost like mixed feelings where if you look at the headset from, the perspective of like, I already bought a Quest, so what is a Quest 2? Oh. And, it's very interesting to see. Like from the VR bubble, there's a lot you can say about this Quest 2. If you're a consumer that never bought a headset and wants to dip their toes into VR, holy shit, man. $2.99.
I know.
What the fuck are we still talking about? Just buy the thing, play some games, have fun, and done. That's all.
Yeah.
Like that's it. That's the whole story.
If you have a Facebook account.
And in the VR bubble, you can say whatever you can say whatever you want, like it sucks and it's great, or Facebook account this or Facebook account not. The thing is, it's $2.99. So at the moment, 20 VR enthusiasts who love their Rifts or who love their Quests and now can't buy certain headsets anymore or need to have a certain account, there are already like 200 people right now who pre-ordered it, well, you are, saying like, I don't want to, So that's the thing. You have no choice anymore. There is like today starts the domination of Facebook in the VR market.
Chat, I was going to say, we've got 15 minutes left. If there's anything critical you want us to answer, get it in there, because this is an hour-long show. I know we normally do like 3, 5, 17-hour shows. Today is limited. So get your questions in chat.
Two things I want to touch on before we wrap up and take some questions is that we know now that the Rift S is going to be discontinued. We know that Quest has been discontinued. So this is the one single headset to rule them all going forward from Oculus. This is the only headset they're going to sell on the store. Yeah. This is the only headset they're going to support really.
And they know they can force you into buying it because there is nothing.
The only thing
choice.
The thing I wonder about that though is it also going to become one store?
Of course.
Eventually, you're going to have to do that, right?
Well, when you say one store, sorry, Oculus, what?
No, I mean, because they say now you have the Quest 2, you have the Quest 2 and you have the Quest and you have the Rift S. And, if you go to the Oculus store, they have categories for these kind of things.
PC and mobile.
But eventually, that will have to become one then.
No, it's PC and mobile games. That's it. And
are they going to change those categories like that?
Well, of course. And like I think the Go is going to go away, and because it's all creating confusion. They now have one headset, so they want to get rid of everything else they once had.
They are simplifying
to sell more and get more people into VR. If people see like up corner Go and Rift as, they're like, what the heck are these?
Yeah, I just want to ask one thing here, because Chris is saying in chat, and I don't remember this either. Has it been definitively stated that the Rift S is discontinued? Because I know they alluded to it in today's presentation, but I'm not.
So me and Nathan were told this in a briefing when we first got the headset, and we were told that we could tell people that. I think it's spring next year is when they plan to fully discontinue it, but they'll be phasing it out over the coming months. Basically, I think it'll be hard to get.
They already did for months now.
They mentioned in the presentation something along the lines of that this would kind of replace the Rift S.
Yeah, they alluded to it, but they didn't state it as.
No.
But they stated with the Oculus Link, you will get the best experience on PC.
Yeah, but that's not clear. That's not clear.
It wasn't clear, but thank you guys for sharing. I'm glad you've been cleared to share that information actually with us.
It's a shame though.
Yeah, it's a shame. I love my Rift
because that means that PC VR, hardcore VR enthusiast stuff, you shouldn't be at Oculus anymore.
Well, I don't know about that, because if they keep the Oculus Store divided into PC VR and mobile VR, then there is still.
But I mean PC VR master race. Okay, I'm not meaning consumer can play some casual PC VR. It's fine, but if you want, the best comfort, like they were pushing for that first, but now it's like all standalone. They go completely standalone.
But they have again. They had the very powerful statement in the slides today, which basically said there is not a future with wires, and they said that at the beginning of their AR. I know it was part of the AR section, but I truly believe that's their vision. Like no wires.
And that's the thing. You got to remember, this is a $300 headset that can do wireless PC VR.
It's ridiculous.
The Index is a $1,000 headset. All right, it looks better, but it's not wireless.
Like you can hear in your voice, Mike. You can hear this like sickly smile of the shining new Apple in VR, and I have to agree. Like this thing is pretty good all around. I was
dude, like it is freaking awesome. And that's the thing. Like we've touched on a lot of stuff, and then we've argued about a lot of stuff. But it is freaking awesome for like $299, and this is probably the best thing that's ever going to happen to the VR industry, certainly in these early days, to accelerate VR forward any further.
That's true.
And what we should talk about is the games, really, because I think hardware is great.
Yep.
But with great hardware, you need games to play. Otherwise, you've got a fancy paperweight. So let's talk about the games that were announced at the event, because we heard that Ubisoft were making an Assassin's Creed and a Splinter Cell in VR, which is.
I wish I'd thrown in there.
It was just we didn't get a trailer, which is disappointing. But we got told that the new Jurassic Park game, Aftermath, has instantly become one of my most anticipated VR titles because
so shaded.
Everyone knows that if they watch the show, we love dinosaurs.
No, you know what won me on
that?
The
game is cell shaded.
Coat Sync won me on that. Because they've made so many good titles. When I saw them in that, and then I saw the cell shading, and then I saw basically the bit from Alien Isolation where you hide in a little, help me out here. What's the word I'm looking for?
The little talon, like tapping on the ground.
No, the locker. You hide in the locker. The tap on the ground was evil as well. With the raptors that are chasing you are talking to one another like through their talons, like talon Morse code. It's fucking amazing.
And that's the thing. Like Borderlands looked so good in VR, and that's why it makes me excited for Jurassic.
Can we just immediately give this like FReality game of show? Because I think Jurassic World.
Oh yeah, without doubt, that was my game of show. Without doubt.
And also like you already know that because it's cel shaded, it's gonna look great in both the Quest
and great,
maybe the Rift S.
No, it's like, you know what I said before. Like I wanted to see more content. Looks like Oculus is spending more content, like on content. Jurassic World is also from their hand, so it's good that they're spending some money again on, like for example, Code Sync, because they totally deserve making more games. So that's great news. Again, I always want to see gameplay first, because Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed, like if you can let me jump off a tower in a stack of hay, great. But if it's Assassin's Creed wave-based shooter edition, so we'll see.
We have to wait on those titles, don't we? I'm going to call this 2021. Code Sync gets acquired by Facebook.
Oh well.
So the other game that got me super excited was the Population 1 trailer. I think they did a fantastic job with that trailer. I'm very excited for that game. I think it's got the real potential to be one of those games that people just keep going back to over and over again. And that is what is exciting.
That's what the headset needs. It needs like a multiplayer game where everyone is going to that one core of a game. This could be it.
Of course, we got.
I'm glad to finally see it. It's like, it looks like it's really smooth, and they've actually dialed it back. Because when I first saw it, I thought this is just going to be another kind of battle royale game that's just going to come up. It'll be around for 2 weeks and it'll be washed out again. But it really does look solid.
It's also because there's nothing like, on PC, you could have played Fortnite, you could have played so many battle royale games, but on Quest, there's nothing there yet. So people are super hungry for content like this. They have been waiting for this for like a year already.
And having spoken to like the devs from Big Box VR, they know that this is their opportunity to really shine. And
that's why it's also on the box.
They're very, very like adamant on like making sure that this is a hit.
It's so ambitious.
Yeah,
it is.
But they've been saying that. I mean, we met them last year, and they were saying it then. They've been saying it longer than that. When Quest landed, it was like, this is our time. We got to focus on Quest because this thing's going to be killer, and it has been, to be honest. That was good.
That is something that I quickly wanted to mention as well, because you have all these like great titles actually landing on the platform. You have Population 1, Jurassic Park, Assassin's Creed. The Splinter Cell experience. So I mean, there's been a lot. I see in the chat sometimes now still as well. It's like race to the bottom, with like, oh, we're only going to have these like mobile VR experiences. But I mean, you got to be honest that the experiences that are being promised, that are being delivered, they're consistently very, very high grade experiences.
Yeah. I mean, look at. I agree with you. The thing is, I think we've hit that point where we've U-turned, because we've been through Cardboard. We've been through Pico, Neo, and Go, and all these headsets that really, unless you're really an enthusiast, or just watching YouTube or something, they're not good enough, right? But this stuff now, like if you hand Beat Saber to somebody who's never done VR, you hand any of these experiences to somebody, they're not going to be complaining about it. They're not going to see pixels. They're going to be immersed.
You can play Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners on this thing.
I want to know about that. I want to know about that.
It's great.
It's fucking amazing.
It's great. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, we've got access to a demo of it.
Physics, everything that you know from the game is there, and that's
amazing.
That's the whole thing with the Quest. Every game you played so far that you're like, that would never run on this headset. Physics-wise, gameplay-wise, it's all there. Okay, graphics maybe not, but the moment you have the gameplay, you're entertained, and it's fun, and it's great. So it just works, and it's also where. First I would be like, oh god, what is going to happen to the frame rate after a while? Dude, I played it for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Solid.
It's all fine.
It's coming out. It's coming out on the 13th of October.
It looks sick. I mean, and you guys know that's like one of my top games. And now that they've brought that, I'm surprised they brought it so fast.
But I was gobsmacked.
Yeah, this is a good sign though, because if there's one thing that I would like to see more on the Quest, is more single player experiences. This game has a freaking awesome story to it, has a lot going on. Well, the Quest overall, if you look at the store, most of it are just the party games, but this is like, full-fledged. This is going to entertain you for a long time.
Yeah, it's a good.
That's awesome. So this is a good sign, and hopefully we're going to see more, titles from PCVR coming to the Quest just natively.
Now, as the second oldest guy here, I want to say that the thing that surprised me most is something that I did not expect to hear probably ever again said to me, and that word is Mist. Like, the fact that they're rebuilding Mist for this headset, like, I never got to play it. It was a box they used to ogle down at our little like computer store in the Caribbean, and I'd look at it and I'd go, oh, maybe one day, and I've never been able to play it. So I actually am looking forward to this now as an old guy who just wants to try Mist for the first time.
And Sniper Elite is coming to Quest.
Yeah.
That's
and
nuts.
the Climb 2.
And the Climb 2.
The Climb 2, yeah.
God damn.
It is amazing. Like there's the game library. I'm super happy with.
Yeah, I feel like with all this stuff that is coming out, that's what I'm hoping for, because first they had all these headsets and they just had a problem like, we have content for this headset, but it doesn't really perform that well, so we just wait out the content and we just throw it and now it's like one headset, no excuses anymore. It's gonna sell like I won't say pancakes, but
sell like stereoscopically pleasing pancakes. That's
yeah. And because of that, you can now throw all of the titles you have, all of the money that you spend on these developers into one headset. I feel like this headset is just one big, rainbow of fun. And where first they had to kind of balance it out. Sometimes Rift got like an amazing PCVR title that not many people played. Well, Quest is there to, serve the developer. So I think it's super smart.
So because we're running out of time, we should take some questions from the chat, but one thing I want to touch on before I do that is the controllers, because we haven't mentioned those yet, and they're freaking awesome.
You show us? Do you have them?
Yeah. They're here.
Big chunky controllers.
Make sure they're
way bigger. Where's the
they're super nice. They have a capacitive touch sensor where you can rest your thumb. They're chunkier, they feel sturdier. They could probably take a knock or two, just like the original CV1 controllers.
Yeah.
The batteries last 4 times longer.
Do they have a seam at the top, Mike, like the original Quest, or are they actually?
So the seam is straight down the middle there, and that's
no. I meant on the ring, because that is where the Quest controllers would break.
No, not at the top. No.
Yeah, I think they fixed that in their design. What about the battery?
Actually, no, there is a seam underneath.
There is. Okay. What about the battery door?
Dude, the battery door is
battery door is on the side.
Yeah, if you play with it now, it doesn't, because they made it cheaper. It now just clicks in there, so the magnets and stuff is not there. Even if it was premium, it does solve the issue there.
So they suggest that battery life is 4 times longer from the AA batteries.
It's
the haptic feedback is actually stronger. So in games like Beat Saber, you really notice the haptic feedback.
Wait,
now.
What's it carrying? It's a single AA, or what is it?
Yeah. Single AA. Just
so
like
wait,
4.
longer than what? Longer than the Quest controllers?
Yeah, 4 times longer.
No way. Wait.
What they're saying.
Have you get?
Well,
what?
That's what these are all the marketing stuff that they told us. And
so it's stronger and longer and cheaper.
And cheaper and feel better. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that interestingly is that in the previous Quest the batteries were coming with it. Now they're inside already. You just need to pull like the little lid and then they just work. Like the whole process of setting it up is like extremely simple now. Everything also happens inside the headset. But when you pair the controllers, they just automatically find the headset and bloop, and you're done and you're in there.
Yeah.
It's
the new controllers are great. Like I never had any complaints about the old ones, but they're great.
I think a part of what they told us is just marketing speech, okay? But a big part of this battery life is true, because after 4 days, after 4 or 5 days, it was still on 100%.
Yeah.
Still 100%.
I got a question for you then. Okay. Here's a slightly different one. How is the power management on the Quest 2 compared to the original Quest? Like and I'm saying this out of the love for the Go, or hatred for this part of the Go, where you'd charge it up, you'd sit it there, a day later it was dead, even if you hadn't powered it on. Are you finding it's like more like the original Quest, better than the original Quest, worse? Like where does it sit?
I always turn mine off anyway when I'm not using it, so I don't leave it like in standby mode, if that's what you mean.
And the same turn off, kind of 8 seconds off.
No, you can turn it off. That it just automatically.
You just press and hold the button and turn it off. That's what I do until you hear the noise. Yeah.
Usual. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's take some questions from the chat, because I know they've got.
How is recording? Yeah, go on, Brady.
We got Alakazam asking, how is the new sound?
The same as the original Quest, in my opinion.
Same.
Same with
microphones. So piped audio.
Yeah. Headphones are still the best option.
Have you guys?
You've only got 3.5 head jack this time.
Have you tried? Yeah, and that's an interesting thing for anyone who uses both, because I tend to use both, but I've got a solution now. Got a question. Have you guys tried the microphone in social or something? Like, does it compare?
Sounds fun.
Nathan and I jumped into real VR fishing together. Talked about the headset, tested out the microphones, and it sounded great.
Super clear.
Yeah.
So
we have Cleo Biggs asking, do you need a smartphone to set up the Quest 2?
Yes.
You do.
Only for the initial setup, but if everything else can be managed on the headset from after that.
I think it takes about like 10 minutes to set up. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have Pyro62 asking, how does the weight feel? Is it still front heavy or is it more balanced?
Still front heavy with the original strap that comes in the box with it.
Yeah.
But with the Elite strap, it feels more balanced.
Yeah.
Okay. Super Drake is asking, do the custom hand straps for the old touch controllers work with the new ones?
The Mammoth grips do fit, kind of. You can put a Mammoth grip on, no problem. So I can show you that. There you go. So that's what a Mammoth grip would look like.
Are they fatter or about the same? Like
they're a little bit
fatter. What about the length?
They're a little bit fatter, so they don't push all the way down into the strap, into the grip, but you could still use them once you've tied it up properly.
Like...
So,
well, if they're smart, they partner up with Facebook as well.
Yeah, but they do work if you wanted to. But even for my hands, which are quite small, they're great.
I'll take
Okay, go ahead, Rowdy.
I'll take two more questions. We have Dudu asking, are the lenses closer to your eyes than Quest 1?
Yes.
Like the distance between the eye and the lens?
Yes, because the actual girth of the headset, I don't know, I'm losing my
lovely
words.
Adjective.
It is shorter. So the lenses are closer to your eyes. I use prescription lens inserts, so I don't have a problem. But if you have glasses, you'll probably have to use the spacer that comes in the box.
All right. And then we had still Paradise Decay asking, is Link better on Quest 2?
It's the same as Quest 1 at the moment. Yeah. Because I don't think the Link cable takes full advantage of the new resolution. It doesn't go to 90 hertz yet, but Link is coming out of beta soon, and I think once it's out of beta, it probably will be better.
Didn't you also say that when you were connecting it to your PC, it's now charging the headset while you're playing? Well, first it was doing it was still draining its power. Saying that, but.
So I was playing with the battery pack at one point, and that was actively charging, even though I was playing at the same time. With Link, I can't really remember. I think it was just because I think the headset was fully charged. It was just keeping it fully charged. Yeah. I don't think it would drain it using Link.
We have, by the way, ProTube VR saying that after you opened the controller, that he thinks that the Pro straps will be compatible as well.
The Pro strap. That's the one that loops inside. Yeah, and that. As the backhand cover.
Yeah, they'll probably just because it's ever so slightly girthier. The grip of the controller that these companies might have to redesign their accessories a little
retool.
Bit. Yeah,
that's really awesome. I mean, look, this kind of headset is fantastic news. It's going to make us all sound like we're paid to advertise for Facebook, which is I find really annoying because people even come to me, and I tend to be hard on Facebook and their accessories. It sounds very good. It almost especially at that price point, it sounds too good to be true. So I'll be glad to get my hands on it.
And also, we should probably clarify this that Nathan and I got sent the headset for free and early. But we don't get paid. We're not paid by Oculus to say anything good about the products. And also, they didn't ask to see any of the content that we made up front about it.
No.
So the first time that you guys saw our first impressions videos, the same time that they saw them.
That's a really good stipulation.
And ultimately, as much as we like having a relationship with Facebook and Oculus, the relationship with the community is way more valuable than any relationship with a company. So it wouldn't be in our interest to lie to you about anything we've talked about today.
I mean,
one more thing.
It would be weird to to be making a video and not being able to say what you want. So. I mean, what we said, it's totally fair. But yes, as you said, this headset, I think I've never really reviewed a headset before. where you're like, listen, this is like really good, and I just can't deny it.
I was gonna say, can you guys both, just for anyone who's tuned in, because we got a bunch of people watching, just recap, you think, your pros and your cons for the base bundle and your recommendations. Nathan, you want to maybe take that first?
From the base, I like from the VR bubble side, you mean? Because from the consumer side, I could be like, great headset, just buy, and there's
go informed VR buyer. Yeah.
For the VR enthusiasts watching right now, okay. So I would say Quest 2 is cheap from the outside, expensive from the inside. Hardware-wise, it's amazing. It's super powerful, future-proof. XR2 is a freaking beast. It just eats every game alive, and it's not impressed by it at all. The tracking is super accurate. The hand tracking is amazing. Software-wise, you get so much. It has a crazy library of content. No other platform has that, And now combined with the PC VR content, it's a headset that rules every other headset, no matter what the specs are. And from the outside, you will just have to buy some accessories to make it a little bit better. So that means you have to spend some more money. But yeah, man, like $299. This is really like we're almost at the tipping point of VR going mainstream. If this is if it becomes a little bit more cheaper, and the content and the software and the platform, everything is on point, like every month, because now as well, like with Quest 2, we got to see how much content they will push in the future. Now they throw with games again because it's Facebook Connect. But what is the roadmap like? Because you need to keep pushing that as well. Social, multiplayer, single player, everything. So that's it. That's kind of
any negatives to throw in there, Nathan, before we go to Mike?
As I said, like head strap isn't that great. Can be solved, luckily. But besides that, no, not really.
No. Mike?
Yeah, I kind of in my video I kind of summed it up at the end by saying, a lot of people said that this was going to be a Quest Lite, but in the end we got a Quest Pro priced at a Quest Lite, and I think everything has been upgraded. Everything is faster and better. The headset's also cheaper. The head strap sucks that comes in the box, but buy an Elite strap. You're still only in it for $350 US.
Yeah.
And I think for anyone that's looking to get into VR, it's the only option that you would really recommend anyone.
You can't recommend anything else anymore now.
No, and even if you're just you're looking to buy a PC VR headset as your first VR headset, I would say just get this one as well. I love the Index, I love PC VR, but this is where it's at. This is the future that we're heading for at the moment, and standalone is going to be the future, I think, for a lot of us for the foreseeable. And the Quest 2 is the headset that I would recommend to anyone.
Oh, wait, I forgot one thing. Biggest downside is definitely having a Facebook account, because in my opinion, everyone should be able to enjoy this headset without the need of that. It wasn't necessary. It could have just gone for just the Oculus account. Maybe it was still Facebook, but at least disguise it then and just have people use that. But now, because it's Facebook, it's a bit more out there, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Also, one more thing. I mean, we're not going to talk about it this episode, but I definitely want to talk about that the next time. Is the kind of business section that they announced during the stream with the desktop Infinite and the integrated keyboard. I think that's a really cool thing, and I think we should definitely highlight that.
So just two questions from the chat. What's the actual resolution of the panel? It's 1832 by 1920 per eye. Runs at 72 hertz, but can boost up to 90 hertz. Was there much difference in the graphic quality of the games? Yes, they look sharper and they have less screen door effect and maybe slightly wider field of view depending on your IPD setting. Yeah.
And just for any FReality regulars who were watching and wondering, hey, you guys are doing a midweek special. Does that mean your Saturday's canceled? No, we're going to be here for Saturday, and we're going to be with a zombie Mike and a zombie Nathan who have been churning through content for ages now, who are still going to be churning through content with baggy eyes. We'll be there on Saturday for more questions and answers with the FReality guys.
Seriously, if you want some more Quest content, check out Mike's last video because it's really good. If you're a VR enthusiast and that bought a Quest 1 and you want to know what the Quest 2 has to offer, then check it out seriously, because this guy has been working his freaking ass off for like a week or two.
We both have. Both have.
It's insane. It's insane what's going on behind the scenes. It's it's like you get imagine you get this headset, you can't really talk about it. And then it's like, oh God, now when I open it, what's going to happen to my life? And it's not just where, you're a consumer and you open it up and you play with it and done. But for us, it's like, oh, wait, if I touch this now, I need to record that first.
Yeah, everything's considered. Yeah. Everything's considered. We've both been working super hard, and thankfully we've got each other to talk about it.
We want VR to get mainstream. We want people to get excited for VR, and there are going to be so many new people joining us now. I think we will see so many new people in a way we have never seen before. And with the price, going down so much, we're going to see all kinds of people that it's going to be great.
And I just want to say, we're very fortunate to be in the position that we're in, and very grateful to be in this position, even though we're tired. We do love it. I mean, we wouldn't do it if we didn't love it. Put it that way.
One comment before we finish, guys, is just that it is like an arrow to my heart that we don't get to be together for this edition of the cast.
I know.
I hate you a little bit, 2020. I'm grateful because you brought me a new daughter, but the fact that you keep me away from my VR family, that hurts. And for anyone who we're not able to hug or share a beer with or whatever, I just wanted to say, guys, I miss all of you, and I look forward to talking more on Saturday.
Yeah. So see you all Saturday. Thank you for joining us for this impromptu live stream. We really appreciate you all joining us live. And so have a great week. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy a lot of the news that is going to be coming out over the next few days and gameplay and stuff. Nathan's got some great gameplay coming, so have I. And we'll see you on Saturday for a normal show that will be prepared and everything else, rather than this a bit ad hoc. So thank you again for joining us. Take care, and bye-bye for now. See you later.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.